I was 26 years old when my cousin Daniel came to stay with us. Our families had always been close, and we grew up seeing each other during the holidays, but this was the first time he would live with us for an extended period. He had just gotten a new job in the city, and our house was the most convenient place for him to stay. At first, everything was quite normal. We were family after all, and having him around felt natural. Daniel was a year younger than me, with an easygoing personality and a knack for making everyone laugh. I remember the day he arrived with his bags and his infectious smile. He settled in quickly, and soon it felt like he had always been there. Daniel and I started to spend a lot of time together. Our bond grew stronger as we shared meals, watched movies, and went out on weekends together. He was always respectful and kind. His presence brought a new energy to our home, and I found myself looking forward to the moments we spent together. As the weeks passed, our interactions began to change subtly. There was a growing closeness, a deeper connection that went beyond the usual familial affection. We found ourselves sharing more personal stories and secrets, staying up late into the night, talking about our hopes, dreams and fears. I began to notice the way his eyes would linger on mine a little longer than necessary, and the way my heart would race when he was near one night after a particularly long day. We were sitting on the couch watching a movie. It was one of those warm summer evenings, and the air conditioning in his room was broken. I could see he was uncomfortable, so I suggested he sleep in my room until it was fixed. I set up a mattress on the floor for him, joking that it was like a sleepover from our childhood. We laughed and talked until we fell asleep. The first night was uneventful, but as the days went by, the atmosphere between us started to change. The conversations we had in the dark before falling asleep grew more intimate. We shared more of ourselves, our hopes and fears. The boundaries that once defined our relationship began to blur one night as we lay in the dark. He reached out and touched my hand, a simple gesture, but it sent a shiver down my spine. His touch was gentle, yet it carried an intensity that was impossible to ignore. We lay there in silence, the air thick with unspoken words and emotions. I knew we were treading on dangerous ground, but I couldn't bring myself to pull away from him. The nights that followed were a whirlwind of emotions. Every touch, every glance was charged with a tension that neither of us dared to address directly. Yet it was impossible to ignore one night as we lay there. He turned to me and whispered my name. His voice was soft, but filled with a longing that mirrored my own without thinking. I leaned in, and our lips met. The kiss was gentle at first, hesitant, but it quickly deepened, becoming a passionate release of all the feelings we had been holding back. When we finally pulled away, we were both breathless, staring at each other in the dim light of the room. We knew we had crossed a line that could not be uncrossed. We talked about it the next morning, both of us agreeing that it couldn't happen again, that we needed to keep our relationship as it was. But the tension between us only grew stronger. Every moment we spent together was a reminder of that night. The days turned into weeks, and the unspoken feelings between us became harder to ignore. Every accidental touch, every lingering glance was a stark reminder of the desire we both felt, but tried to suppress. One night, as we sat on the porch drinking wine, he looked at me with a serious expression. "I've been thinking," he said softly. "I think we need to take a step back from each other for a while. Give ourselves some space to figure things out." My heart sank at his words, but I knew he was right. We had been so caught up in our emotions that we hadn't given ourselves the chance to think clearly. I nodded reluctantly, agreeing to his suggestion. The next few weeks were incredibly difficult. We avoided each other as much as possible, keeping our interactions to a minimum. I focused on my work and tried to distract myself with other activities, but my thoughts always returned to Daniel and the feelings we had shared. One night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, I realized that I couldn't keep living in this state of confusion. I needed to make a decision to confront my feelings head on. The next morning I found Daniel in the kitchen making breakfast. I took a deep breath and approached him. "We need to talk," I said, my voice steady, despite the turmoil I felt inside. He looked up at me, his eyes filled with a mixture of hope and apprehension. "I can't keep pretending that I don't have feelings for you," I continued. And I know you feel the same way. We need to figure out what we're going to do about this." He nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. We spent the rest of the day talking about our options, discussing the potential consequences of pursuing a relationship. We knew it wouldn't be easy, that we would face judgment and disapproval from those around us. But we also knew that denying our feelings would only lead to more heartache. In the end, we decided to give our relationship a chance. We agreed to be honest with our families, to explain our feelings and hope that they would understand it was a risk. But we were willing to take it for the sake of our love. As we embarked on this new chapter of our lives, we faced many challenges, but we also found a deeper connection and a sense of fulfillment that we had never experienced before. Our relationship was unconventional and complicated, but it was also real and true, and that was all that mattered. As we navigated the ups and downs of our journey together, we learned to lean on each other, to trust in our love, and to face whatever obstacles came our way together. In the end, it wasn't easy, but it was worth it, and we knew that no matter what the future held, we would face it together as the weeks turned into months. Daniel and I found a rhythm in our relationship that balanced our deep feelings with the realities of our situation. We had open conversations with our families explaining our bond, and while it wasn't easy at first, they eventually came to understand and accept our relationship. This acceptance gave us the confidence to fully embrace our feelings for each other. But our journey was far from over. Living under the same roof meant that every day brought new challenges and moments of intense emotion. We continued to discover new things about each other, deepening our connection and strengthening our bond. Our nights were filled with whispered conversations and shared dreams, while our days were spent navigating the complexities of our situation. There were times when the weight of our unconventional relationship seemed too much to bear, but in those moments we leaned on each other, finding strength in our shared love one evening as we sat on the porch watching the sunset. Daniel took my hand and looked into my eyes. His gaze was filled with a mixture of love, determination, and a hint of uncertainty. "We've come so far," he said softly, "but I know there are still challenges ahead. Are you ready to face them with me?" I squeezed his hand, feeling the warmth of his touch and the depth of his love for me. "Yes," I replied, my voice steady and filled with conviction. "I'm ready to face anything as long as we're together." With that promise, we knew that no matter what the future held, we would face it together. Our love had proven itself resilient and true, capable of withstanding the tests of time and circumstance. As the days turned into years, we continued to build a life together, one filled with love, laughter, and the occasional challenge. But through it all, we remained steadfast in our commitment to each other, knowing that our love was strong enough to overcome any obstacle we faced in the quiet moments of the night. As we lay side by side, I often thought back to the early days of our relationship, the uncertainty, the fear, and the overwhelming desire that had brought us together. It had been a journey fraught with difficulties, but it had also been a journey of discovery, love, and growth. Looking at Daniel now, I knew that every moment, every challenge had been worth it. Our love had grown deeper and stronger with each passing day, and I couldn't imagine my life without him by my side as we faced the future together. I knew that we would continue to navigate the complexities of our relationship with the same strength and determination that had brought us this far. No matter what lay ahead, we would face it together, our love a guiding light through the darkest of times and the brightest of days. Our lives continued to intertwine, each day bringing new experiences and challenges that only strengthened our bond. We faced the world with a united front, determined to make our unconventional relationship work. Our families, though initially hesitant, grew to accept and even support us. Their acceptance was a turning point, allowing us to embrace our love fully without the constant fear of judgment. Daniel and I settled into a routine, balancing our personal and professional lives. Our evenings were often spent cooking together, sharing stories from our day, and planning for the future. We found joy in the simple moments, the shared laughter, and the quiet companionship that came from truly understanding and loving each other. But even with the acceptance and the routine, there were still moments of tension and uncertainty. The societal norms and the whispers from those who didn't understand our relationship sometimes weighed heavily on us. Yet in those moments, we turned to each other for reassurance, finding strength in our shared love and commitment. One particularly challenging period came when Daniel's job required him to travel frequently. The distance was difficult, testing our communication and trust. We missed each other terribly, and the long nights apart were filled with a sense of longing. But we made it work, staying connected through late-night calls and heartfelt messages. The distance, while challenging, also made our reunions that much sweeter, reminding us of the depth of our connection and the importance of our bond. As time went on, we began to talk about the future in more concrete terms. We discussed our dreams of buying a house, traveling to new places, and maybe even starting a family. These conversations were filled with excitement and hope, each plan a testament to our commitment to building a life together. One evening, as we sat on our favourite porch swing watching the sunset, Daniel turned to me with a serious expression. "I've been thinking a lot about us," he said, his voice filled with emotion, "about our future and what it means to truly be together." I looked at him, sensing the weight of his words. "What are you thinking?" I asked, my heart pounding with anticipation. He took a deep breath, his eyes never leaving mine. "I want us to make it official," he said softly. "I want us to be more than just a couple living together. I want to marry you, to build a life with you in every sense of the word." Tears welled up in my eyes as I absorbed his words. "Daniel," I whispered, my voice choked with emotion. "Are you sure? With everything we've faced, everything we still have to face?" He nodded, his expression resolute. "I'm sure," he said firmly. "We've faced so much together already, and we've come out stronger. I know that whatever comes our way, we'll handle it together, because I love you, and I can't imagine my life without you." Overwhelmed with emotion, I threw my arms around him, holding him close. "I love you too," I whispered, my heart overflowing with happiness. "And I want to spend the rest of my life with you." With that promise, we began to plan our future in earnest. Our engagement was a joyous occasion, celebrated with our families and friends who had come to understand and support our relationship. The wedding planning brought its own set of challenges, but we faced them together, each decision a reflection of our love and commitment. As we stood at the altar on our wedding day, surrounded by those who loved us, I felt a sense of peace and fulfillment that I had never known before. Our journey had been anything but easy, but it had brought us to this moment, where we could finally declare our love openly and without reservation. The ceremony was beautiful, a testament to the bond we had forged through years of shared experiences and unwavering support. As we exchanged vows, promising to love and cherish each other for the rest of our lives, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, our love a beacon of strength and hope. Our married life was filled with both joy and challenges, but through it all, our love remained a constant. We supported each other through career changes, family issues, and the everyday ups and downs of life. Each challenge only made us stronger, reinforcing the bond that had brought us together in the first place. We continued to build our life together, creating a home filled with love, laughter, and the occasional argument. But even in our disagreements, we found ways to communicate and understand each other, always prioritizing our relationship and the love we shared. Our love story was far from typical, but it was ours. It was a story of two people who defied the odds, who faced judgment and uncertainty, but chose to follow their hearts. And as we looked toward the future, we knew that whatever came our way, we would face it together, our love a testament to the power of connection, understanding, and unwavering commitment. Our dreams of traveling and exploring the world together slowly came to fruition. We visited places we had always talked about, creating memories that would last a lifetime. Each trip brought us closer, as we navigated new experiences and adventures hand in hand. Our shared passion for discovery and learning about different cultures enriched our relationship, adding new layers of depth to our already strong bond. We also continued to grow as individuals, supporting each other's personal goals and aspirations. Daniel pursued his career with determination, and I found new avenues to explore my interests and passions. Through it all, we remained each other's biggest cheerleaders, always encouraging and celebrating each other's successes. As we settled into the rhythm of married life, we began to think about starting a family. The decision was not without its challenges and fears, but it was a journey we were excited to embark on together. We knew that raising a child would bring new responsibilities and changes to our lives, but we were ready to face them as a team. Our first child brought an incredible amount of joy and fulfillment into our lives. The experience of parenthood was both exhilarating and daunting, but together we navigated the sleepless nights, the endless feedings, and the sheer wonder of watching our child grow and develop. Parenthood deepened our bond even further, as we shared in the responsibilities and joys of raising a family. As the years went by, our family grew, and with it our love and commitment to each other and our children. Our home was filled with laughter, love, and the occasional chaos that comes with raising kids. We embraced the challenges, knowing that each one was an opportunity to grow and strengthen our family. Through all the ups and downs, our love remained the foundation of our lives. We continued to prioritize our relationship, finding time for each other even amidst the busyness of family life. Our late-night conversations, our shared dreams, and our unwavering support for each other were the cornerstones of our enduring love. Looking back on our journey, I realized how far we had come from those early days of uncertainty and confusion. Our love had grown and evolved, weathering the storms and shining brightly through the darkest times. It was a love that had defied expectations and stood the test of time, proving that true connection and commitment could overcome any obstacle. As we looked toward the future, we knew that our journey was far from over. There would be new challenges to face, new adventures to embark on, and new dreams to pursue. But we were ready, knowing that we had each other to lean on, and that our love would guide us through whatever lay ahead. Our story was one of resilience, of two people who found each other and chose to build a life together despite the odds. It was a story of love, of unwavering support, and of the power of connection. And as we continued to write the chapters of our lives together, we knew that our love would remain the constant thread that bound us, a testament to the enduring power of the human heart. As the years went by, we continued to build our life together, facing each new challenge with determination and love. Our children grew, filling our home with laughter and joy. We celebrated their milestones, from their first steps to their graduations, always standing by each other's side. Our bond grew stronger with each passing year, and the love we shared became the foundation upon which our family thrived. We created traditions that brought us closer, from Sunday dinners to annual family vacations. These moments, filled with love and togetherness, became the glue that held us all together. Our family was our greatest achievement, and we cherished every moment we spent together. Despite the challenges, we never lost sight of what was most important, our love and our commitment to each other. We faced health scares and financial difficulties, but we always came out stronger on the other side. Our resilience was a testament to the strength of our bond, and it gave us the courage to face whatever came our way. In our later years, we found a new rhythm, enjoying the quiet moments and reflecting on the life we had built together. We watched our children start families of their own, and our home was once again filled with the laughter of grandchildren. The love we had nurtured over the years extended to the next generation, and we were filled with pride and joy as we watched our family grow. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sunset, Daniel took my hand and smiled. "We've had quite the journey, haven't we?" he said, his voice filled with warmth and nostalgia. I squeezed his hand and nodded, my heart overflowing with love and gratitude. "Yes, we have," I replied, and I wouldn't trade a single moment of it. As we sat there, surrounded by the beauty of the life we had built together, I realized that our love had stood the test of time. It had weathered every storm and had emerged stronger and more resilient than ever. Our journey had been filled with ups and downs, but through it all, we had remained steadfast in our commitment to each other. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over everything, I knew that our love would continue to shine brightly, guiding us through whatever lay ahead.